Detroit Den family, welcome back. Steve here. As you can see, I'm talking shit about them Chicago Bears today. Um, I'll just give you guys a little insight. I was browsing the interweb today and I stumbled across this from Yahoo Sports. Tom Brady responds to Caleb Williams aiming for 8 Super Bowls in his NFL career. As you can see by the date, June 15th, it was about a week ago. So it got me doing a little digging, and I'm a little late. I feel like I remember hearing some rumblings about this on Twitter. Um, Caleb Williams, this actually goes back to April, so it's a little bit of old news, but I just had to chime in and give my 2 cents about this. On some podcast back in April, it was before the draft. Caleb Williams went on a podcast and was talking about how he wants to beat the all-time Super Bowl record, which is obviously held by Tom Brady with 7 Super Bowls. So obviously, as a Detroit Lions fan, being a Chicago hater, I started to feel some type of way about this. Like, man, this kid, and real quick, I know we get some Chicago Bear fans in here who like to come chirp, and for some reason, you guys watch Detroit Lions podcast. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me either. But I say the same things that I say about Hendon Hooker. Show me his NFL tape. Hasn't done anything yet. Like, I'm firm, but I'm fair. I'm not going to say one thing about another player and twist it because it fits my narrative. I said the same thing about Hendon Hooker on this show all the time. It's not that I'm a doubter. It's just that I need to see it to truly believe that you're that type of guy. You're that dude, as they say. Hendon Hooker hasn't stepped on a football field. Neither is Caleb Williams. So for him to come out and say that he's going to win 8 Super Bowls when the only thing you've done in a Chicago Bears uniform is take pictures for Madden. That's all you've done so far. You have done nothing in a NFL uniform. I don't know, man. I guess it's confidence. Here's the thing. What I did the other day was I watched the documentary Bye Bye Barry. If you're not familiar with that, the documentary about Barry Sanders, the GOAT, on Amazon Prime. Check that out if you haven't already. There's a scene in there where it's Barry's rookie season, and he's asking the media not to follow him up the tunnel for one of his games because he doesn't want the veterans to see or have it portrayed like he's getting any type of special treatment. I think that's why we love Barry Sanders, and if you don't love Barry Sanders, you at least respect him. I was obviously very young when I got to watch Barry play, and I usually mostly have to go off of stories from like my uncles and older cousins that were a little bit more familiar with Barry Sanders. But I do remember him playing. One of the things that everyone says was, just how humble he was. Like when he'd score a touchdown, didn't celebrate, didn't do a dance, didn't do a gritty, didn't jump into the stands or do anything to show up his opponents. Just flip the ball to the ref, act like you've done it before, be a professional, carry yourself that type of way. I feel like that gets lost in today's NFL, where it's just or even just this society where it's just a look at me culture, I guess, with even social media and just everyone wanting just this need for approval. And I guess that's what Caleb Williams needs. And look, I'm not cheering for this kid to like go out and get hurt or anything like that. Like, I hope he has a good career. I just hope that the Lions have a better season than he does every single year. I hope we beat them. We win the division every year. We knock them out of the playoffs, all of that. I just don't get this, if it's cockiness or if it's confidence. I don't know. I feel like this particular scenario where he's going out and saying, I'm going to beat Tom Brady's record without even stepping on a real field. For me, it borderlines on cockiness. I could be wrong. If you have a different opinion, that's perfectly fine. Nothing that I've seen about Caleb Williams really rubs me the right way. I don't care. It has nothing to do with the fact that he plays with the Chicago Bears. It's just a gut feeling I have. I don't know. When I look at him and I see him, I just don't get the vibe that just screams to me ultimate teammate type guy. I just don't get that vibe from Caleb Williams. But bold statement, 8 Super Bowls. You'd be lucky if you won one division. The Lions are here to take over. Like, this is our division now. History's in the past. Let's move on. But speaking of history, let's talk about the Chicago Bears and what they've done. When's the last time the Bears drafted a quarterback and developed him into an actual weapon? Before my lifetime. I was born in 1988. If you want to go back to Jim McMahon, I don't even know if he was technically drafted by the Bears. Don't know, don't care. But that was the last time a quarterback for you guys was any good. Kyle Orton, trash. Jay Cutler, trash. Let's talk about 2017, where the Chicago Bears gave up the farm to move up to pick number 2 to take Mitch Trubisky, waving bye-bye to Patrick Mahomes as they passed that slot where they could have drafted him. Could have had Deshaun Watson. There's a list of other players they could have had. And you guys landed on Mitch Trubisky, who honestly, all right, let's be honest. Mitch Trubisky had 2 good games every season, and it was always against the Detroit Lions. Sucks to say. I don't like saying it. Just the way it kind of felt. Like Mitch Trubisky seemed like every game against Detroit, he would go out and throw for 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. It's just, I don't know what it was. Just something in the water that day where Mitch Trubisky looked like Steve Young. I don't know. It sucks, but it's in the past. He's out of town now. I think he's with Pittsburgh or something now. But the Bears, until you show me that you can draft a quarterback and develop them. And before you say shit about the Lions, I'll take Matthew Stafford over any quarterback you guys have drafted in the last 20 years, hands down. It's not even close. Didn't win a Super Bowl here. I get it. That's your argument. All right, let's go back to Jim McMahon riding the coattails of one of the top 5 greatest defenses of all time. But back to Caleb Williams, man. Just, I don't know. To me, it just seems overly cocky. When you play at USC and you play all those schools out west, listen, I watch a lot of college football. Those West Coast teams just don't scream defense to me like they do in the SEC or the Big Ten. Oregon, I guess, had an okay defense last year, but for the most part, like the Pac-12, they're not a defensive conference. They're a spread out, throw the ball around. It seems like every quarterback has averages 340 yards a game. It's just a different type of ball game that we play here in the Midwest and in the Southeastern Conference. Big Ten, SEC are obviously the 2 kings. I need to see Caleb Williams do something against a legitimate defense, even in college, before I can say that you were anything that I need to be worried about. Because right now I'm just not worried about Caleb Williams. He has to show it to me on an NFL field where teams play defense, where everyone's a little bit faster, linemen get to you a little bit better, cornerbacks stick to their coverages a little bit better. This is a business now. It's not college kids who are studying and playing football. Technically supposed to be part-time, even though I know that's not really the case. But that's just my thoughts on Caleb Williams. Like I said, this article goes back to something that he said back in April. I kind of remember hearing about it, but I didn't really ring any bells until I saw that the Tom Brady commented on it and basically was just like wishing him luck. I guess, it's just like the right thing to do. I guess I don't think Tom's ever going to come out and say, yeah, right, kid, you'll never win 8 Super Bowls. But this goes back to April. The podcast happened back then. Tom Brady responded last week. So I was just doing some digging, doing some homework. Bears fans, look, this is your man. Come get your man. This was the last time I remember seeing Caleb Williams on a football field. So leave it in the comments. Let me know what you think. Caleb Williams, cockiness or confidence? Let me know. Leave it in the comments. Stick around. Subscribe. We'll be back later with another show.